Harry was 32, answering phones in a noisy utility call center, taking home $3,193 a month. His coworker Malik made almost the exact same money. 18 months later, Harry's net worth crossed $4,719. Malik's was negative 2,000 something and sinking. Same city, same job, same starting point. The difference came down to 5 rules. Harry followed almost religiously. If you get these 5 rules right, your wealth does not just grow, it becomes hard to break. Job loss, market crashes, surprise bills, even bad months stop being emergencies and start being speed bumps. And before we dive in, notice something. I did not say 5 hacks or 5 tricks, rules, because what you are about to build is a system, not a mood. By the end of this video, you will have a simple 5-rule framework you can literally write on one page, pin above your desk, and run your money through every month. In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel says, wealth is what you do not see. The fancy car in the driveway often hides an empty account. The quiet person in a 10-year-old sedan often has investments that would shock you. These 5 rules turn you into that second person. Let's start with Rule 1, because Harry's entire transformation hinged on this. Rule 1 is, build a permanent gap between your income and your life. Most people try to build wealth on whatever is left over. That worked for exactly 0 of the people Harry knew. They lived at 98% of their income, then tried to save what they could. Translation, they saved nothing. Harry did the opposite. He drew a line. Month 1, he printed 3 months of bank statements. He highlighted every recurring cost in one color, and every "that was nice but not necessary" in another. Rent, basic groceries, phone, transit, minimum debt payments. That was core life. Everything else went in the second pile. When he added the core life column, it came to $1,984. His take-home was $3,193, so he made a rule. My lifestyle lives at $2,150 a month max. The rest is not mine to spend. That gave him a permanent gap of $1,043 every month. Not a leftover, a rule. He did not try to jump there overnight. Month 1, his spending was chaos. He only managed a gap of $411. Month 2, $683. By month 4, the habit had hardened. His spending floated around that $2,150 mark without feeling miserable. You can do the same thing. Take your last 3 months of bank statements. Find your true core life number today. Then, set a target lifestyle number maybe 300 or 400 below where you are. Give yourself 3 months to slide down to it. If you do not have a gap, you do not have wealth. You have motion. Rule 1 forces a gap into existence. Now, Rule 2 is what makes that gap unbreakable. Rule 2 is, turn that gap into a 3-layer protective wall. This is where most people blow it. They create a gap once, see a few hundred sitting in their checking account, and then a stressful week hits. They treat themselves a little, and the gap dies. Harry decided every dollar of that $1,043 would march through the same 3 stops, in the same order, every single month. Layer 1 was his shock absorber, a boring checking account at the same bank he already used. He aimed for $1,500 there. That account was allowed to handle small surprises, a flat tire, a medical copay. If the balance dipped below $1,500, refilling it became top priority. Layer 2 was his quiet fortress, a separate savings account at a different bank, with no debit card, no bill pay, nothing. He called it the do not touch pile. His goal there was 3 months of core life costs. Remember that number, $1,984. 3 months meant $5,952. Layer 3 was the engine. An investment account that he would not touch for at least 10 years. We will get there with Rule 3. Here is how his month actually looked. The day his paycheck landed, he skimmed $200 straight into the shock absorber until it stayed above $1,500. That took 3 months. After that, the first $600 from his gap dropped into the Fortress account on the 9th of every month. Why the 9th? because his rent hit on the 1st, his credit card pulled on the 4th, and by the 9th he knew what was left. That timing mattered. Once the fortress reached $5,952, every new dollar from the gap started flowing past layer 1 and 2 and straight into layer 3. No feelings. No, do I feel like saving this month? Just rules. By month 8, Harry's shock absorber stayed full without thought. By month 11, the fortress crossed $6,112. That was the first time in his life he could lose his job for 3 months and not panic. You can copy this in your own numbers. Decide your shock absorber level. Decide your fortress level. Pick one day each month when money moves from checking into each layer, and do not let feelings vote. But here is the part almost nobody understands. You can have a gap, you can have a wall, and still end up with fragile wealth. Rule 3 is the one that turns everything into unbreakable growth. This is where most people's brains want to bail, so stay with me. Rule 3 is, make ownership automatic, boring, and impossible to interrupt. In The Simple Path to Wealth, J.L. Collins writes about one core idea. Own productive assets for a long time and let them work while you sleep. Not 10 trading strategies, not stock-picking contests. Ownership. Harry took that idea and did something very simple. The 15th of every month, after his shock absorber and fortress were taken care of, whatever was left from his $1,043 gap marched into a single investment account. At first, it was tiny. Month 4, $237. Month 5, $269. Some months were lower when life hit, some higher after overtime. But the rule held: 15th of the month. Whatever survived the wall went into ownership. He picked one broad fund that owned tiny pieces of hundreds of companies. He did not try to time the market. He did not pause when prices felt too high. He did not double down when they fell. Here is the secret, and this is the part that makes wealth unbreakable. He tied his investing to his calendar, not his feelings. Most people ask, is now a good time to invest? Harry asked, is it the 15th yet? This is the mindset shift you need. Your calendar becomes the boss. Your rules become the spine. Your feelings become background noise. There is a reason so many real millionaires in The Millionaire Next Door looked boring from the outside. They were not chasing hot tips. They were doing the same quiet ownership routine over and over, through good months and ugly ones. By month 12, Harry's investment account had $6,879. By month 18, it crossed $15,314, even though some months he only managed $171. His job did not change. His strategy did not change. His rules did not break. Here is the best reveal. If you lock in Rule 1, 2, and 3, your net worth stops being a guess and starts being a direction. There will be flat months. There will be ugly months. There will be months when your investment account dips, even though you added money. That is the point. Wealth that never gets punched in the face is not real. But something interesting happens around the 12 to 18-month mark. Harry noticed this first. The wall kept filling. The investments kept buying more shares. He had bad weeks where he overspent. He had a month where his car repair cost $937. Yet his fortress and engine recovered faster every time. That is unbreakable wealth, not the absence of problems. The ability to absorb them without derailing the plan. Now, Rule 4 is the one everyone wants to jump to first. Do not. Without the first 3, Rule 4 just makes your lifestyle more expensive. Rule 4 is, grow the income engine without letting lifestyle chase it. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill talked about specialized knowledge, not just working harder. Knowing something valuable and rare. Harry took that idea into his boring call center job. He noticed the people who got promoted fastest understood 2 things: the software they used and the messy billing rules that frustrated customers. So he made a tiny personal rule. 3 evenings a week, 35 minutes after dinner, he studied one narrow slice of those 2 things. Not learn everything, just one narrow slice. Week 1, he learned every keyboard shortcut in their system. Week 2, he read the internal policy manual on payment arrangements that everyone else ignored. By month 5, he was the rep newer people messaged when their screen froze or a customer had a weird problem. When a supervisor role opened in month 7, His name came up first. Promotion. His take-home went from $3,193 to $3,727. Here is the trap almost everyone falls into. Lifestyle creep. The raise hits, and within 2 months, they feel just as broke. Harry had a rule written on a sticky note next to his monitor. Half of every raise goes to the engine. So, when his income jumped by $534, he allowed his lifestyle to rise by $267. The other $267 slid straight into the gap. That one decision increased his monthly investing capacity by over 30% without feeling like sacrifice. The new money he earned did not go to nicer takeout. It went to his future self. You can do the same, even if you are not getting promotions yet. Pick one slice of skill in your world. 30 minutes, 3 times a week. Target the thing that makes money, saves your company money, or makes clients calmer. Then, when more income shows up, never let your lifestyle swallow all of it. Let Rule 4 feed Rule 3. Finally, Rule 5 is what keeps the whole system from collapsing when life really swings. Rule 5 is protect the machine from your own worst impulses. Unbreakable wealth is not just math, it is behavior under stress. Harry knew his weak spots: online shopping during bad weeks, impulse upgrading his phone because the carrier made a great offer, panicking when he saw red numbers on market charts. So he built tiny guardrails. First, he removed his investment app from his phone home screen. To open it, he had to use search. That extra 10 seconds stopped a lot of pointless checking. Second, he created a 48-hour rule for any purchase above $129. If he wanted something, he put it on a simple note labeled 48-hour list. If he still wanted it 2 days later and it fit inside his lifestyle number, he bought it. You would be surprised how many must-haves died in those 48 hours. Third, during bad market months, he banned himself from changing contributions. He was allowed to feel afraid. He was not allowed to touch the 15th of the month rule. There was a month where his investments dropped by almost 8%. His brain screamed to pause. But the calendar did not care. The 15th came, the money moved, and he bought more shares at cheaper prices. 6 months later, those painful purchases looked brilliant. Protecting the machine also meant basic shields. He kept a cheap term life policy once he had dependents. He kept renters' or homeowners' insurance up to date. He did not turn his car coverage into a lottery ticket. He picked a reasonable deductible he could actually cover from his shock absorber. The rule was simple. Never let one event knock you all the way back to zero. Let's put all 5 rules together now so you can see the system. Rule 1. A permanent gap between income and life. Your lifestyle lives on less than you earn, on purpose, by design. Rule 2. A 3-layer wall. Shock absorber for small hits. Fortress for big hits. Engine waiting behind it. Rule 3. Calendar-based ownership. Investing happens on dates, not moods. Whatever survives the wall becomes ownership every single month. Rule 4. A growing income engine that does not drag lifestyle with it. You develop specialized skills. You capture promotions or better roles, but only a slice of each raise upgrades your life. The rest feeds the engine. Rule 5. Guardrails for your worst days. You slow down big purchases. You make it harder to panic sell. You protect against disasters that would nuke the whole plan. Harry did not follow these perfectly. He had months where the gap shrank. He had a streak where he ignored his skill practice for 6 weeks. He had a moment where he almost emptied his fortress to buy a newer car. The difference was the rules were written down. When he messed up, he did not invent a new plan. He went back to the 5 rules already on the page. That is what you need too. Tonight, do not try to build the whole machine. Pick 2 actions. First, calculate your real core life number and decide what your lifestyle cap will be for the next 3 months. That is you installing Rule 1. Second, pick your calendar day for ownership. Maybe it is the 8th, maybe the 15th like Harry. Open whatever simple investing account you can access, even if the first transfer is $59. That is you installing Rule 3. Write the 5 rules where you can see them. You will not feel different tomorrow. You might not feel different next month, but somewhere between month 9 and month 18, you will look up and realize something. Emergency